Aloha, y'all. It is Freya's Day, Friday, March 25th. Hopefully, you guys are getting up, getting at it, and enjoying yourself, even in the early hours or evening, wherever you're watching from. I have friends in Australia, so it ain't Friday there now, but you get the gist. The astrology I'll be talking about is what the moment is, so it doesn't really matter where you're watching from necessarily. So today, the 25th, the sun is in Aries at 4 degrees, 48 minutes. The moon is at 8 degrees Capricorn. It's moved into Capricorn, which is about getting things done. I mean, you might feel more seriousness emotionally right now. I've actually entered Capricorn as I was doing the podcast last night, basically with Kai for the second time. Great astrologer, check that out. Mercury is at 26 degrees Pisces, Venus is at 18 degrees Aquarius, Mars is at 14 degrees Aquarius, still conjunct, 4-degree orb there, 4-degree separation. Jupiter is at 19 degrees 45 minutes Pisces. Saturn is at 21 degrees Aquarius. Venus is now conjunct Saturn. It's getting closer and closer, 21 and 18, right? What is this? Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus. Neptune is at 23 degrees Pisces, conjunct Mercury. Pluto is at 28 degrees Capricorn, and the North Node is at 23 degrees Taurus. Let's go ahead and pull some cards, but before I do that, it is a Vishuddha Chakra Day, a throat chakra day. This is about getting your truth out, speaking your truth, holding the resonance of truth, both in terms of what you hear and what you accept into your field, as well as how you utter and what you say. Verily, verily, I say unto you, truth, right? So the location's internal and external, right? The throat area. Keywords are knowledge, health, and decisiveness. Positive aspects are loyalty, trustworthiness, tactfulness, and calm. Negative aspects include unfaithfulness, untrustworthiness, self-righteousness, and coldness. I was just thinking of Ben Folds 5 song off of their first album, Whatever, Whatever, Amen. And it's like, I'm lonely, but I'm right. So we don't want to be, speak truth, but be cold about it, right? And solo about it. But sometimes we have to stand on our truth, and it's just us. So the mantra is Ham, H-A-M. If you're going to be doing that, I did this morning when I woke up. I did my chakra chanting. There's a good little YouTube thing. If you type in chakra chant, whatever. Jonathan Goldman, chakra chants 2 is really the best. But that's about an hour of commitment time. And then I just did a 30-minute one. So about 3 or 4 minutes per chakra. Ham in the key of G. Or whatever the key would be. I don't have a perfect pitch off the top of my head. Spiritual activities include chanting, silent retreats, fasting, yoga, dance, qigong, tai chi. Essential oils are blue chamomile, gardenia, and ylang ylang. Plant gardenia. The metal is mercury. Element is aether. Crystals are turquoise, blue agate, and aquamarine. And the soul lesson is expressing divine will. So today on this Freya's Day, this Friday, we are going to be speaking our truths very strongly. And with this moon in Capricorn, it's going to be emphasized even more because we're just going to be like, this is what it is and this is how it goes. So let's go ahead and pull some cards. Hopefully you're all doing all right. I've been getting, I usually thought I only needed like 6 hours of sleep. I've been getting like 7-8 hours of sleep here because I wake up at about 5:30, about 5 now, and get to bed around 9:30. So that's actually really restful for me. So we've got the Hierophant. This is somebody who is speaking what? Exoteric spiritual truth, right? This is kind of the High Priest masculine energy card. It's a major arcana. The counterpart would essentially be the High Priestess, which is this hidden esoteric, like the form behind. And then that pops out into the Empress card, which is the hidden feminine, and then the exercised feminine. And this is basically the spiritual masculine, like the Pope or something like that, right? It's kind of High Priest energy. So the Hierophant, very Capricorn Moon, right? The Hierophant, High Priest, caretaker of spiritual knowledge, teaching others what you know, awakening to a greater understanding of the world, and paying attention to the details. The Hierophant, I am the teacher of universal law. The Hierophant is the guardian and custodian of religious knowledge and spiritual beliefs, a religious figure or a guru, which means teacher in Hindi, preserving and passing knowledge on intact, the masterful conduit of spiritual energy. He is admired and acknowledged as the teacher of God's law, the keeper of spiritual wisdom passed down through the millennia. With it being a Vishuddha or throat chakra day, this is somebody who's speaking the truth of what spiritual gnosis, right? Hopefully they haven't just passed it along, a game of Chinese whispers or telephone or whatever. Hopefully they've had this Mercury conjunct Neptune vision of the spirit. Jupiter and Pisces, God has spoken to them, or they know the truth for themselves actually, and now they're speaking it. Vishuddha chakra. He alone has access to this knowledge, and as the spiritual authority is master of ceremonies, choosing wisely who is initiated into the ways of spirit and spiritual governance. Moon in Capricorn. It's like, I am the top of the pyramid, and this is what it is. I have depicted the Hierophant as part man, part wolf, probably the most misunderstood of all wild animals. Wolves are seen merely as killing machines that hunt in packs, a scourge to be rid of. Very south-noded Scorpio. It's like, oh my God, be afraid of this. So much so that now most species are considered endangered. Wolves, in fact, are extremely gregarious. They mate for life, have strong family bonds, a clear clan structure, and deflect conflict where possible. More North Node and Taurus than we thought. They're more structured and gregarious, right? They can thrive. They don't need to hunt people, really. And they try to resolve conflicts and deflect them where they can. Saturn and Aquarius. Though their clans are highly organized, like I just said, Saturn and Aquarius, they are truly free spirits. A symbol of the night seen howling at the moon, they represent the lonely path of journeying within to learn and discover our inner power and strength. The wolf nature also expresses the idiom of biblical origin used to describe the deceptiveness of appearance, a kind nature masking danger, the wolf in sheep's clothing. And with Kaipacha Lesher on for the second time yesterday on the podcast, we talked very much about, Charles Schwab, and people like that, the World Health Organization, and these G7 kind of group globalist, kind of Orwellian totalitarians, and how they basically are like Justin Trudeau. He's like, he looks all nice and stuff, but he's saying some pretty ratchet shit. Very kind of inflammatory things, very segregatory things, and ultimately that's the wolf in sheep's clothing. He's on the podium, but what's he saying? Like, what's the nature of his speech? We got to listen for the truth and what's false. Vishuddha chakra. After all, religion has been a double-edged sword, a source for conflict and a resource for peace. Religion has been at the heart of most violent conflicts, especially in the past 2 decades, and is worn as a badge of identity fueling or abating conflict for political ends. The Hierophant, the channeler of male spiritual energy, can indeed bare his teeth. The flower of life, a flower-like pattern with six-fold symmetry like a hexagon, floats above his head, a universal sacred geometry depicting the creation of existence, containing all the essential building blocks of the universe that we call the Platonic solids, and is found all over the world, in most religions and various ancient civilizations. It can be seen in temples within the Forbidden City of China, in ancient synagogues in Israel, in the Buddhist temples of India and Japan, while the oldest known examples are believed to be those present in the Temple of Osiris in Abydos, Egypt. Temples that have borne witness to the visceral rituals and ceremonies of sacred sound and sight, scented aromas, touch, and taste have been used to reinforce the stories, doctrines, and values of religion. To serve God, one is actively encouraged to live and pray either in an enclosed spiritual community or live in the secular world while choosing to pray/meditate and meet regularly in the house of God. Of course, I'm just going to wait a second because Facebook is saying trying to reconnect. So yeah, basically this is found all over the world, and people kind of do things to stimulate their visceral experience palpably in these ritualistic kind of environments. So they're called to go to the house of God, come to the school, learn about this, come to church. Establishing a strong social structure and the idea of belonging and contributing to a bigger group, right? So we have this idea with Mars and Venus now conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, where it's like, these are the truths of the group, and this is how we engineer our group. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's essentially what society and culture are, right? But we have to be wary of what truths we're hearing. Vishuddha chakra day, right? Throat chakra. When someone's on the pulpit or someone's speaking like me, you have to see how it resonates with you. Don't just, don't be so open-minded that the wind blows through, as Terence McKenna would say. You have to be discerning for yourself, but at the same time, be willing to be stimulated into new territory, new domain of thought, experiencing new ideas of what values could be, as opposed to holding on to all you know, right? North Node in Taurus, like expand your horizons a little. So let's go ahead. Well, the Hierophant, right? Caretaker of spiritual knowledge, teaching others what you know, and then you do that through speech, usually, through parables and stuff like that, teaching others what you know, throat chakra. Awakening to a greater understanding of the world and paying attention to the details. With Venus and Saturn conjunct in Aquarius, with Venus and Mars conjunct separately in Aquarius, we are really kind of seeing the schema of reality and understanding how to hack it. But we do that with others. We don't do it in isolation, right? So with the Hierophant card, we are going to get some spiritual truths. And with the moon in Capricorn, it's going to be downloads for the most integrous kind of part of our emotionality. It's maybe hard truths, in a sense, where you're like, oh, well, that's not the easiest truth, but it's true. It's the true, as they say. So let's go ahead and get a clarification card. Clarification. Hopefully you all are doing well. I know I've said that a few times, but I do mean it. It's taken me a second to kind of wake up today. I don't know why. I'm awake, but it's just taking a second. So we got the Ten of Cups, even though it's a very positive kind of, overwhelmingly beneficent card, I guess you could say. This picture wouldn't suggest that. It's Leviathan. It's like, oh my gosh, here comes the serpent, here comes the Hydra. So the Leviathans, though, are, with Mercury conjunct Neptune, these are the monsters of the deep, the subconscious and the psyche, right? This is, in a sense, potentially why we're getting truth in our dreams. I just had some crazy dreams, actually, and they've been consistently crazy. I can't remember the topic right off the top of my head, but I woke up being kind of like, oh, I just went to judo class or school or whatever and learned a thing or two. Hierophant, moon in Capricorn. But at the same time, we have to have this ability to tap into the highest good of our truths in a compassionate way, right? Ten of Cups. So I'll just briefly kind of explain what cups are. If you're a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces, you're naturally going to resonate with the cup, as this clarifier card is about emotions and creativity, empathy, understanding kind of the fluidity of that energy. So Ten of Cups is a clarifier. Crafting a legacy, very moon in Capricorn, right? Where it's like, what am I standing for? What's going to be left behind? A lot of things just come and go, right? Some truths remain much longer, right? So like the Torah or Buddhism, right? His teachings have lasted thousands of years or hundreds of years at least. So what truth, Vishuddha Chakra, are you speaking into reality and channeling, essentially? What truth are you channeling, and how are you bringing it to the highest good of all? That's really what we're being kind of asked to do. Crafting your legacy, ultimate contentedness, like peace, be still kind of stuff. Creating long-lasting bonds with those you call family, right? I experience the joy of loving connection. So with the moon in Capricorn, we might have to be a little more conscious of not beating each other up with the truth or our truths, and kind of doing it out of kindness, right? Speaking the truth in what? Love. It's one thing to have the truth. It's another thing to beat someone up with it. And it's another thing to kind of let people come to you. And it depends on your chart. Manifestors have a very different, which is human design I'm talking about now. Manifestors will have a little different prerogative than generators versus reflectors, etc. And astrologically speaking, it's a little different too. So, I'm a Sun and Moon Gemini, 11th house. I'm here to talk, 12th house, Mars, Mercury in Cancer for the collective and channel quite a bit, conduit-wise. That isn't the case for everybody, right? So in a sense, I'm built to kind of be the guy talking on the thing, but I need to be doing it from a very compassionate place, not just a factoid, here's something interesting place, though I can kind of fall into that. Here's an interesting, today I learned on Reddit kind of thing. And that's just can be, information is not wisdom, or, so as Frank Zappa would say, information is not wisdom, wisdom is not knowledge, knowledge is not truth, truth is not beauty, beauty is not music, music's the best. And so what's the best? When we can sing the truth, right? When our lives are a resonance of that truth, when we're singing it from our being, when we are the little crystal singing bowl going or whatever, and we're resonating our truth. We're all resonating some frequency, so you have to be kind of discerning as to what you're resonating, because that's what we are. Resonate. We're just higher dimensional kind of resonation bowls in a sense. We've got 61. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. And with the moon in Capricorn, we might be doing a lot of reflection right now, where it's like, what are my values, North Node in Taurus? What do I stand for? What's my legacy? Venus conjunct Saturn. What am I doing here? Why am I, who's my crew? What am I supposed to be doing? What's my mission? And the real thing is to just kind of be a fluid conduit of love. That sounds so hippie. Be a fluid conduit of love and open to experiences and the truth of others. But ultimately, you need to be Vishuddha chakra, right? Throat chakra. You need to be preaching what you know and what you've seen. If you've seen the burning bush, tell people about it. That's the highest good you can really bring to the table for others. You don't want to beat other people up with your experiences and say my experience is right and yours is wrong, but you do want to share your experience so people who might not, might be afraid or timid or confused can resonate with you. This says inner truth, right? What is your truth? How do you speak it? Hierophant card. How can you share it with others? 10 of Cups. Inner truth, 61. You must have access to what lies inside yourself and other people to use the power of inner truth. Approach your environment as openly and free of prejudice as possible, right? So this hexagram, this card is telling us we need to be as kind of chill and, don't be square, go with the flow kind of energy with our truths. 10 of Cups clarifying what the Hierophant card. So it's like speak your truth, but do it in love and do it though. Like Vishuddha chakra, don't hide it under a bushel, as they say. Approach your environment as openly and free of prejudice as possible, right? We're trying to clear the static off the wire. Venus conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. When judging conditions, Moon in Capricorn, relationships or people, because it's very judgmental, kind of like, is this good? I don't want this. I do like this. North Node in Taurus. What's of value? When judging conditions, relationships or people, try to distance yourself from your own desires and aims, which is very difficult. Because usually we're not just spitting the true. Usually we're very emotionally embroiled, 10 of Cups shadow here a little, and we're like, oh my gosh, I'll only love you if you do the things I want you to do, if you meet my expectations, or you're meeting my goals and ambitions. And that's why we each have to share openly and truthfully where we are in the journey and reflect on that ourselves in order so that we can stand firm in our beliefs and values, North Node and Taurus, and not just be swept up into the codependence and submission of South Node and Scorpio. This is the only, so, you got to distance yourself and your own desires and aims from people. So when you're speaking to a group, don't just be like, well, I'm only going to talk to the people I like. That's not how it works, right? You want to try to extend that compassion and grace of your platforming, of your being to all, ideally. I know this is very ideal, Mercury conjunct Neptune. This is the only way you can achieve an objective point of view without distorting reality. But everybody does distort reality to some degree, even the most, pure vessel channels. Krishna Gurti or whatever his name, or Buddha or Jesus or anybody, still had some distortions going on, cultural lenses you could say, or experiences from themselves that they had. These dogs though. The 10 of Cups is telling us to try to bring heart to the truth. I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but bring heart to the truth of the matter, both when you're looking at your own values and your own inner truth, as well as when you're expressing that truth to others. So this is the only way you can achieve an objective point of view without distorting reality. Even people who are difficult to approach, very Moon and Capricorn, will open up to you. 10 of Cups, right? Clarifier. And you yourself will learn to understand their motives. Insight into inner truth gives your mind clarity and brings goodness and sincerity to your deep feelings and character. An attitude which arises quite naturally in you being the friendship of other people. So let me repeat that. An attitude which arises quite naturally in you brings the friendship of other people. That's how to say that. So we've got inner truth. So you go, speak your truth, stand on your soapbox if you need to, but do it in loving kindness. Do it from a place of kind of consideration of yourself and others. Your shit stinks, so do other people's. You don't have all the answers. They might have answers you need, kind of thing. But if we don't speak our truths individually, collectively, from one to another, and reflect these things, these inner truths, and reflect them to each other, because that's what it is. Just a reflector, as Arcade Word Fire would say. We're just in a hall of mirrors. That's the whole namaste thing. I mean, just look at the top of his thing. This is kind of like what reality is, and then we all kind of come down from hyperdimensional perspectives, I guess you could say, like unity consciousness, and we filter through into particularities, and then we have, our being is the utterance of that particularity. But we're all in it together. We're all in this mishmash of being together as individuals in a collective, right? Venus conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. We're individuals and we have to do our own thing, North Node and in Taurus, but we all are in it together. We're in the soup cooking ourselves, as Carl Jung would say. But like I said, in the Reflector song by Arcade Fire, which is a really good album if you don't know, I thought I was praying to the resurrector. I thought I was praying to a particular religious point of view. I thought I was seeing my truth specifically. Turns out it was just a reflector. This is just another aspect of the Tao howling back at you, showing you a particular truth. So stand firm in your truth and communicate it, but do it in love, really is the bottom line. And have the grace to let other people do the same. So let's get an animal oracle card. We've got the Elephant, leadership. Very much the Hierophant energy, even almost the same color scheme on this card. And we've had Stacy DeMarco on the podcast as well. Shout out Stacy. She's an Aquarius, Sun and Moon, I believe, from Australia, creator of this deck. The Elephant is showing Ganesh, right? And we're going to hear a little story about Ganesh, but this is what true leadership kind of is involving. There is a time to step forward and lead, and it is now. Capricorn Moon, North Node in Taurus, right? What is a mark of a real leader? Someone who speaks their position clearly and articulately, and not only their position, right? Not only their distortions and reflections, particularly, but they try to do it in love and speak a truth that's maybe beyond them. They're like, you know what? I've seen the vision. I've seen Kubla Khan, and this is what I saw. Or I've been inspired by a song, so this is Stairway to Heaven. Or, oh my gosh, I have this idea of... Sorry, that was a loud car, or truck, really. I've had this idea of maybe I'm going to build a pet recovery center, and this is how it's going to look. But you're going to have to take charge a little. Take the bull by the horns, as they say, North Node and Taurus. Take that bull by the horns. There's a time to step forward and lead, and it is now. Be the leader in your own life. If you want something achieved, take the lead yourself. Very Aries, Sun energy, right? Get it done. Go out there, be the change, be the present force of action. Be the example that others will follow. Do not lead by force, but by inspiration, right? The best preachers of truth, I guess you could say, are coming from what? The deepest levels of intimate understanding of inclusion and humor and lightness of being, seeing everyone as family, maybe a dysfunctional family, but they understand that they themselves, just like in Inside Out by Pixar, have facets of themselves, and as within, so without, that might have distortions, right? And they know that truth. That's typically the best type of leader. Someone who's just like, I have all the answers and that guy's the asshole, let's go kill them. Probably not the person you want to be following. Or you yourself want to be projecting into the world. Mythos, the Hindu god Ganesha was shaped from the earth by the goddess Parvati, very North Node and Taurus, shaped from the earth. When her husband Shiva returned, and Moon in Capricorn, right? When her husband Shiva returned after a long time away from home, the first thing he saw was a handsome young man with a Parvati. So South Node Scorpio, he got all jealous and didn't think really at all, right? Very Aries Sun, kind of acts without thought. Kind of Aries is all about action, and South Node Scorpio is like acting upon fears and jealousies, really. In his anger, he attacked the young man and severed his head. That's some violent shit, right? He wasn't really reflecting perfectly there. And this is Shiva we're talking about, right? So some huge deity. But Parvati then revealed who Ganesh was, and Shiva sent his soldiers to return with the head of any sleeping being that was facing the north. An elephant was found, and its head was attached to the body of Ganesh. That's the Mercury conjunct Neptune, Jupiter, and Pisces shit, where it's like, oh my gosh, well, if we just go kill a magical, anything facing north, that's some weird magic, we'll reattach the head, and it'll all be good. Everything's back to normal. It's like, really? That's kind of delusional. The life of Ganesh was restored, and Shiva declared that from then on, this elephant-headed young man would always be loved by the community, and his name invoked as a joyful blessing prior to the beginning of major undertakings such as business, very Moon in Capricorn, North Node in Taurus, developments and projects of any kind. So you're going to what? Speak this guy's name if you want to have things blessed, basically. It would be Ganesh who made sure no obstacles would be placed in the way of righteous actions, but it was also he who placed obstacles to encourage people to take different actions. Moon in Capricorn. We're going to become diamonds through what? Heat and pressure. And righteousness, right? We don't just get there by taking the easy way or the unrighteous path. And this is a deity or an energy, I guess you could say, that's going to put obstacles in your path. When you shouldn't be doing something, it's going to make it more difficult. When you should be doing something, it's going to remove those obstacles and make the way that much easier. The flow of the Tao that much easier. Today, Ganesh is one of the most loved of all Hindu gods. Everywhere you turn in modern India, there's a joyful elephant-headed deity balancing on one leg, often riding a mouse, pushing away your worries and negativity and leading you towards the best path possible. Elephants are richly represented in mythos in Africa and Asia. Most tales speak of their wisdom and strength and their ability to guide through difficult circumstances. So the animal. There are 3 species of elephants living on Earth at this time: the African bush elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. All species of elephants have long, prehensile trunks they use for breathing, gathering food, and communicating, and to collect water for drinking and washing. The trunk is also used in combination with the body for pushing objects out of the animal's paths. Elephants have an amazing padded foot that they are designed to spread their weight over a wide area and enable them to move very silently considering their size. They vocalize both sonically and infrasonically, which means like low frequencies. Scientists have measured infrasonic communication of elephants from Africa from 15 to 35 hertz with sound pressure levels as high as 118 decibels, allowing communication for up to 10 kilometers through the ground. While humans may not be able to understand, that's the distance from me to like La Fortuna in Costa Rica where I'm at. While humans may not be able to understand what these calls mean, right? We don't have the ears to hear. The Vishuddha chakra for us isn't open on this frequency. We can certainly perceive the vibrations. We feel their truth being, we don't know their truth, but we feel it, sense it viscerally in the ground's vibration. Elephants live in family groups and often join with other family groups to form large herds. Venus conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. Their structures, Saturn, and their organization of their families is, many teams together kind of joining up, and they love to do that, Venus. These are matriarchal and are led by an experienced older matriarch. She holds the landscape memory for the group, often being able to lead them to water in times of scarcity. There's that Ten of Cups clarifier with the Hierophant. It's like there's a female leader. And will be the organizer of defense if the group is threatened. Moon in Capricorn. Elephants are highly intelligent and demonstrate a rich emotional life. They openly mourn their dead and revisit the skeletons of those they once knew who have died. So they don't, an elephant never forgets. That's kind of where that saying is coming from. The magic, which is why we're all here. The elephant magic is powerful and yet calm. It can be used when you wish to have obstacles removed or to move out of a limbo situation. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Capricorn, when you want to get it done. Get her done, right? When you want that kind of push to what? At this point, we have to speak these, you have to kind of motivate yourself. You have to say mantras and things to get yourself done. Where it's like, all right, I work out, not like crazy, but I do these little workouts at night. And I'm like, I don't always want to do that, but I have to say like, all right, I'm doing, 50 crunches or whatever it is. It's like, I get done and I'm like a quarter through, halfway through. I've got to say these things to motivate myself. And maybe that's just me, but it's kind of what happens. So when you're finding yourself kind of stuck, which I doubt any of us really are, but we might feel like emotionally stuck or very unsure of things. Everybody is right now. We're going through quite a bit. And you want those obstacles removed. This is the magic to tap into elephants. Elephants are wise and with leadership. I just turned the page, so I'm not sure exactly what that said. Elephants are wise wise and take leadership, which is where their magic is so effective. If you wish to become a better leader, Hierophant card, or at least a wiser one, or you would like to attract such a person into your life, ask for the elephant to lend her energy to you. Symbology: elephant with a raised trunk, elephant-headed boy, warrior with an elephant head, elephant with a mouse. Status: African elephants are vulnerable, mainly due to poaching, and Asian elephants are endangered due to habitat destruction. So they are declining. On one hand, it is what it is, but at the same time, it's showing us a reflection of our maybe inconsistency and inability to hold space well for these creatures. Let's act like they're family, right? And really kind of take a note and be more vocal about their plight. Hopefully, you don't have to go be Jane Goodall for elephants or anything, but like we can be wiser people in the world, being more inclusive of the entire environment around us and knowing that it's really a reflection of ourselves. So when the elephant becomes extinct, a part of us becomes extinct in some abstract way. So let's go ahead and get the last card, which is a crystal card. You can quantumly entangle with these. You don't have to own them, but props to you if you do. I know some people are more rockhoundish, dwarves, Mines of Moria vibes, and some people aren't. We have, this is some moon in Capricorn kind of vibes. Saturn's cube. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And with Mercury conjoined Neptune, it's like this weird, amorphous, freakish, anything goes. And then it's like, nope, there's actually some structure here. So, pyrite is what this is. Pyrite. What it is, pyrite, aka fool's gold, is a metallic sulfide mineral. We were talking about wolves in sheep's clothing. So this is something that's truth is vibrating in such a way that people aren't even really sure how to read it. It's blingy, confident vibes, very Aries sun, moon in Capricorn. Confident vibes and often perfect cube structure align us with nature's power to give energy to amazing, beautiful things like you, baby. Kind of tongue-in-cheeky there, right? But North Node in Taurus, this is a very, it brings value to things. Who needs it? The chronically lethargic. Anybody sleeping on their potential, right? With the moon in Capricorn, we're being told to step into our power, and Aries sun is motivating us to do that, and the North Node in Taurus is asking us, what do we need to move towards and in terms of value in the world? Your legacy. Where to put it? Pyrite is often used near the solar plexus or will center, but it works wonders anywhere you need a little boost of masculine energy, that Hierophant card. For example, on the fellas, the low abdomen, just saying. When to use it? On the romantic weekend away from the kids, and whenever the energy to power through feels shrouded in dark matter, when you feel blocked and obstructed by Ganesh, leadership card. Call on your core power, right? And you have to call upon it, right? You have to vocalize it, Vishuddha chakra. And these the power of what? The infinite, the one, the God in you, the kingdom of God, whatever you want to call it, comes in from a higher dimensionality into you, through you, by you. When you ask and you shall receive, right? But we need to ask in order to be blessed. If you want, truth, don't just be like, I want truth for me and fuck everybody else. Be like, all right, I'm here to be a conduit of truth, and this truth is going to set me free and others free, right? It's going to be inclusive. My inner truth will be reflected in others, and they'll see the truth, and I will be a leader with this truth, and I will free myself and others by calling on your power with Pyrite. But you have to kind of make it so, abracadabra. You have to speak it into existence. So if you want to lose weight, be like, I want to lose weight. Don't just think to yourself, I got to lose a couple pounds. Like, be like, I'm ready to lose weight. Make it happen. Moon in Capricorn, Sun in Aries. With the moon in Capricorn, we have this kind of authoritative, like, let's get it serious, let's fix this, let's make this the highest achievable possible emotional situation we can. With the North Node in Taurus, we really want to create long-lasting legacy value. And with Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces, we can really channel spirit in a very particular way, but it has to be for the good of all. It can't, you have to be considerate with your inner truth, showing do unto others kind of stuff, right? That's the quality of a good leadership. The best kind of leaders are the ones that get in the trenches with their warriors. They don't just spout out from, the back of the battlefield and watch the front line go down. So call on your core power with Pyrite and call it in, especially vocally, singing it in, creating little spells or whatever. That's what prayer is. Essentially, it's a vocalized heart essence uttered, right? So pray. Pray today, meditate, kind of tap into your masculine, your action-oriented, your exoteric, outward, spiritual energy. Aries, Sun, Moon in Capricorn. We did have Kai Pacha Lesher on yesterday on the podcast for the second time. He's a great guest. I'll post that in the links. He's basically one of my favorite astrologers. If you don't know about the Pele Report on YouTube, check it out. It's a weekly thing. He's really a fascinating astrologer. I've been paying attention to him since about 2013. But that podcast was great. We're at episode 274, so the Team Rabbit Hole podcast, if you don't know about it, check it out. Kapacha's a great guest. We're almost at 300 episodes. I can't believe it. These are 2-hour-ish, long-form kind of conversations. It's a lot like Joe Rogan, except way more new agey, I guess you could say. We're pulling tarot cards and talking about like psychedelics and conspiracy theories more regularly than we don't talk about MMA and stuff like that. So anyway, check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. If you've enjoyed this, leave a tip. I'd appreciate that. I'm traveling right now and don't have steady income, but so, any kind of tips, go to Feed the Gym Foundation, essentially. If you want a reading, $33 for an hour of cards. I love giving readings. People love getting them. $88 for 3 hours of astrology, so you kind of get the 101 of what astrology is, and then about an hour or two of your chart and kind of know thyself mode. I've only got 5 stars, so it's quality. Both cards and astrology is $111, but mark your calendar for that. It can be broken up, but it's like that's kind of a 3 or 4 hour situation. So it's a chunk of time, but you get an upgrade real quick, I promise. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your Freya's Day. Speak your truth calmly, well, boldly, right? Don't hide it under a bushel. Go out there and proclaim your truth, but do it in a compassionate, loving, inclusive way, knowing that you're speaking to yourself in other forms, namasteing it, if you will. Be the leader that you want. Be all you can be. Call upon your core power with Pyrite. We need to be the change we want to see in the world. And this is how we start doing it, by speaking our truth kindly, calmly, expressing where you are, being humble about it simultaneously. So it's like wise as serpents, gentle as doves kind of stuff. If you like this, tag people, whatever's clever, share it, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Enjoy your Freya's day. Adios. Bye. Bye.